Hello, everybody, and welcome to week number 6. As you can see, officially we have Monday off as President's Day, but, this being an asynchronous online class, I can understand that you'd want to do your schoolwork during that time, and I'm happy to meet with you in my regular office hours in the virtual office on Monday between 11 a.m. and noon. So if you want to pop in then and have any questions or anything you want to discuss, I'm happy to do that then. Officially, we're going to cover Chapter 8 this week, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. I want to give you a heads up as you look a little bit forward. We do have a test coming up on Monday that's due Monday the 26th at 11:59. I'm going to put out a couple of announcements on that. So if you have any questions about what's involved in the test, read through those announcements, and I think I give you some pretty good feedback in terms of what to do, how to be successful with those tests. My key things I would tell you is, hopefully you've been taking notes for yourself. As you've been reading through the chapters, what's really important here is not to memorize formulas and things like that. It's really more important to understand which formulas apply to what kind of a problem, and then be able to go back and reference exactly how to do that. So what I would do is, if I was taking notes as I was reading through the text, would be to say, this formula is for this particular situation, and be as specific as you can, and you can put down the page number. As you may recall, the tests are open book. You can go to your ebook. You're allowed to do that while you're taking the test. Obviously, you can't do that for every single question. No, there's no way you have enough time for that. So you want to be as prepared as possible. But this is way you can more quickly get through the book and find the things that you need to circle back on and really, get a better understanding for. So hopefully that I'm also going to put out, like I said, a couple announcements that help you give a heads up on what to anticipate with the test. Fair warning, it's not just the homework problems rehashed. It'll be something like that, but it'll also be questions about the concepts that are presented in the web text as well. So be prepared for that. Anyway, look for that. It's coming up. That test will be due on by 11:59 on next Monday, okay, the 26th. All right, so let's talk about where we're at. So last week we started talking about the whole idea of. Let me get to here real quick so we can see. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm going to find this. Looking at the web text or our online text. Excuse me. We started on the concept of working capital management, a very important financial area of finance and financial management. So we talked about working capital and the financing decision in Chapter 6. We talked about current asset management in Chapter 7. It's all basically based on current assets and current liability management. So we're going to look at Chapter 8 this week. And in Chapter 8, we're going to talk about short-term financing, which is frequently used it's certainly used literally on a daily basis by large companies. And it's also used by smaller companies as well. It's an important source of financing to make sure that we have the financing available to meet our short-term needs. So we're going to look at trade credit from suppliers is one of the most available forms of short-term financing. The best way for me to describe that is if we were Walmart. Walmart gets product from manufacturer. They order it and they take possession of it. Literally, it's in a just-in-time kind of inventory situation. So it's not very long before what they buy from a supplier goes onto their shelves and is sold. Obviously, they turn their inventory quite rapidly, and one of the reasons why they're so financially successful. And But they negotiate terms with their suppliers that say, I'll pay you in 30 days, 60 days, whatever it may be. And think about that period of time. They've literally taken the product. They've, in many cases, sold the product before they pay for the product that they get from their suppliers. Not a bad situation. Of course, you have to be the size of Walmart to take advantage of that, but you can see what that's all about. So trade credit from suppliers is a really important source of short-term financing. In other words, basically, the supplier acts as your bank. You know, they're basically lending you the product until you pay for it. So it's like a short-term loan. Think of it that way. Recall that bank loans you're going to be able to recall that bank loans are usually short-term and should be paid off from funds from normal operations. You want to be able to pay for that out of your short-term, ability to generate cash and that type of thing. So you want to make sure that you're paying that off. We're going to talk about commercial paper, how important that is, and it's critical from a lender and a borrower standpoint. It's an important topic, financial topic. So learn more about that, and you're going to learn about how accounts receivable and inventory are used as collateral for a loan. And the firm may be able to borrow larger amounts if they put that up. And as a small business, I can tell you, you definitely do that. You have to do that. You don't have much of a choice more often than not. So that's a really important part of short-term financing as well. And then you're going to start getting into the concept of hedging, explain why it's used, and what context that's used for. So again, we're going to talk about short-term financing. It seems relatively mundane, but it's incredibly important in the profitable operation of most companies, both extremely large and small. If you have any questions as you go through it, let me know. If you have any questions in relationship to preparing for the test, I'm more than happy to meet up with you. If you want to do that, just send me an email, and I'll in D2L. Give me 3 times you can meet, and we can get together in the virtual office. Please don't feel extraordinary anxiety over this. You guys have been doing pretty well in the homework, so I'll be happy to help you get through that. Okay, so you'll see an announcement, actually 2 announcements in the next week to help you prepare for it. And but if after all that, if you still have some questions, let me know, all right? And I'll help you through. I want you to be successful. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you next week.